Hi guys, back again. So second in the SPaG lessons we're doing, and this week we are going to be looking at prepositions. Prepositions. Now, prepositions are where, when, and why. So prepositions help you to say where, when, and why something is happening. So what I'm going to do is take you through the various different types of prepositions, the where, the when, and the why, and then get you to do a little bit of work. If you've got a revision book, that'd be really good. So get yourself a little revision book or something like that, where you can write down the prepositions, and I'll give you some ideas of how you can do that. So let's start off with our first set of prepositions. And we're going to be looking at the where preposition. So in, on, over, at, into, under, and through. So my examples were, my brother fell into the river. And you can see up here, I've got my into just there. So my brother fell into the river. And then the sun set behind the mountain. So prepositions are literally telling us where something is happening. So these both tell the reader where something is, or where someone is. So where something is, or where something is. So we can see over here, my brother fell into the river and the sun set behind the mountains here. So it's behind the mountains, not in front, not on, not under the mountains. That would be silly. So as we move on, we can go to our spot the prepositions. So can you spot the prepositions in these sentences? So if I move this down a little bit, you can see them all. There we go. He was sitting under the tree. The boy stood in the playground, and we all climbed into the car. So where do you think they might be? Well, let's have a look at the first one. It is under, so he was sitting under the tree. That tells you his position. So preposition, position, to under the tree. The boy stood in the playground, so it's in, because that's where the boy is, and we all climbed into the car. So we can see the prepositions of where, in, on, over, at, into, under, and through. And what I'm going to get you to do now is, you can pause it if you want to, but I would very much like you to use in, over, on, at, into, through, or under. Try and use each of the above words in a sentence under the heading where prepositions, and then underline them to help you remember when you revise. So pause the video now and give that a go, or watch through to the end and do it afterwards. Come back to this point if you want. If you want to pause it, pause now and see if you can write a sentence for each of those under the heading where prepositions. So moving on. When preposition, so when something is happening. These both tell the reader when something is happening, the sentences we have there. So when, on, in, before, after, until, during, since. So I had a grammar lesson on Monday. That's the preposition telling us when it was happening. During the week, I do my homework. So these both tell the reader when something is happening. These are when prepositions. So we've got a little quiz now. We're going to see if we can spot the when prepositions: on, in, before, after, since, during, until. So can you call me back before lunch? Everything has changed since last spring. I went for a walk after school. So have a look. Where do we think the prepositions might be here? And let's have a look at the first one. So can you call me back before lunch? So before. So that's telling us when it's happening. Not calling me back after lunch, but calling me back before lunch. So the preposition of when, saying when it's going to happen. Then everything has changed since last spring. So since last spring. And finally, I went for a walk after school. So that's our preposition there. So after school. So your next challenge is on, in, before, after, since, during, and until. And you're going to use the heading when prepositions. So you can do it underneath your where prepositions, when prepositions, and then underline them to help you to remember. Again, you can pause it now if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But our prepositions of on, since, in, before, during, until, and after. So see if you can use those. And if you're stuck, go back, have a look at the previous bit, just rewind it a little bit, scroll back and see what I've done, you can copy some of those if you wish to do so. And lastly, our why prepositions. Now, the main word you need to remember here is because. This is the preposition that tells us why. I enjoy your company because you are funny. I eat carrots because of the health benefits. I always buy chocolates because they taste so good. So why prepositions, really generally you're only ever going to need to remember because. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope you wrote all that down and you've gone back and looked over it. And that is our prepositions to say when, where, and why. So stay safe, guys, and I really hope to see you all soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.